welcome to the roundtable. I am Jen. I hope you guys are grateful to see us because we are grateful to be back with you. I have two very special guests here. We're going to talk about a variety of topics, current topics. We're going to touch on the Nate Diaz, Jake Paul fight. We're going to touch on some viral issues and just chop it up about our everyday life. If I look a little tired, it's because I am, guys, but we're going to get into that. But, more than anything, I'm grateful to be here with all of you, and I'm grateful to have our guests here. Let me get into it. Hey, how are you? Strange Days. Good to see you, brother. American Top Gunner. Good to see you. Jojo LB. What's up? How are you? Let me bring in our guest host, the one and only lovely Drina from Drina's Haven 916. How are you? Can
I
you
am
hear me?
doing well. How are you?
Good. So happy to see you.
Yeah,
Oh, looking beautiful as always. So
thank
happy
you.
to see you. Hey, Broken Home Podcast. I'll catch up. Oh, catch the replay. Awesome. We got you. We got you. Let me go ahead and bring in House of Tattoos. Here we go. How are you, brother?
Hello, good sister, doing well. Hi, Adrina, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey,
Good, good.
so happy to have I was going to say three of you. I'm including myself. You guys know I'm a little dyslexic, but
It's okay.
it's all
It's
right.
okay, Jen. Hey, I'm tired too, Jen.
Yeah, I know. It happens. It
I'm
happens.
running on empty, and this heat ain't helping any. It's like humid over here, you
Hey,
know?
let Drina get into that because I think she might have you guys beat. Drina.
Yes, it is so humid and hot out here in Sacramento. But you know what? It hasn't been hot as it has been. Like last week, it was literally like in like 106 to 108 for the past couple weeks. But today was actually a cool day outside, but it is
Okay.
burning up. I like the AC is just does not do it. And
Yeah.
when the sun starts going down like this, is when it gets really moist and stuffy and hot in the house. And there's no
Mhm.
breeze, so there's no delta breeze, so there's no cooling in Sacramento
Oh
right now.
man,
So is
no
that
breeze.
why?
That's even worse, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
why it's
Delta
always
breeze is
hot there.
horrible.
Okay.
yeah.
So that's right. Jojo, good to know. So let's see. House, what is the weather looking like where you're at?
Humid, cloudy, and
Mhm.
a little bit cooler. It was nice today earlier, but then
Okay.
the clouds started coming and humidity's here. I'm telling you, I'm like, you know. But yeah, so it's about 93 today compared to 104, 103. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
That,
humidity makes it worse, uncomfortable.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hot. We're so grateful you guys are.
Saludos, strange days, Artie Marine, Denise, Gibble Denise,
Yes,
Jojo
Denise.
LP, send my brother, Tashanka.
Hope you're
Hello,
feeling
hello.
Denise
better,
Ray, what's
Denise.
already from?
Artie's from, well, everyone always says up north when you know that, Brina. You
Up
and I
north,
both
huh?
say up north.
Right. Okay.
Artie, where are you from again? I know it's north of me even. Well, Denise, good to see you.
He's from way up north.
Right, right, that's right. So let's,
Saludos, Sinaloa.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
get
yeah.
into it. Excuse me, guys, for being late. I had a couple little hiccups. Ruby starts school tomorrow,
Give a little
so
smoky.
trying to run around and get it together. Let me just start out how we always do, and just we'll start out with our guest host. How was your last week, sis? How was it, Drina? What did you do? Anything special, exciting?
Yeah, there's some exciting things going on. I'm from the Bay Area, Oakland,
Mhm.
California, born and raised, but been in Sacramento for maybe the past 20 plus years. And my dad always lived here in Sacramento. My mom always stayed in Oakland, so I traveled back and forth. So
Mhm.
I turned maybe 26, 27. I moved to Sacramento permanently, took care of my dad, lived out here. He passed away. My mom's still in the Bay Area, but she's moving out to Sacramento.
Really?
Yes, that is
Yay!
really that's great news because she's
All
getting up
right.
there in age, and so now I get to look after her. and she's
Right. Good. Good.
bike home over here, like almost near my house. So
Really? Oh, what a blessing.
that's what she's been
Yeah.
back and forth,
Yeah.
solidifying everything. She's coming tomorrow night, and she should by the end of this month. The good Lord says the same. Her and my nieces and nephews will be out here.
All right.
That's
Praise
a
God.
blessing. That's good, man.
It
That's
really
Yeah.
good.
is.
Yeah. Praise God. That's what's up.
Mhm.
I love having family close by. And I was fortunate to grow up that way with a lot of family. So I know that's going to mean the world to you to have mom right
It really
there.
is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my sister from Madera to move back over here. You
Mm.
know, she lives over there in
Yeah.
Madera. I said, "Hey, come back over here, man."
Wow. Is she considering it?
She was, but she's got to go through some doctor issues first. You
Okay.
know, yeah,
Okay. That's nice. Yeah. Or not nice the doctor issues, but nice she's considering it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, house, what about you? What's going on?
Nothing really exciting. It's been so hot over here that in the morning I get out, do what I have to do. Like I said, in the middle of the day, I'll stay in because it's hot, and
Mhm.
then I'll come back in the evening and I'll either do yard work or do something. But I'm having to organize my garage a little bit because they're putting up a new, what do you call that? Garage door, you
Oh,
know
okay.
yeah, so I'm having to move stuff around and organize it, and other than that, really just spend time with my grandkids. You know me and my grandkids.
All about the
It's that's it.
How
right.
old are
How
the
many?
grandkids?
Oh man, I have 14 going on 15,
Woo-hoo.
so anywhere from 18 all the way down to maybe a month
All right
oldest.
then.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and one in the oven. It's
And
gonna
one
make
on the
15.
way.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, you're definitely not brand new to this.
yeah, yeah. I love them all, man. Love them.
That's
And
right.
so, and soon we got two graduations next year, and then the following year another one. So then, like some of are graduating, and we're
Wow,
just getting older. Yeah,
That's
man.
right. We're getting better. We're getting better. Saludos, Sinaloa.
That's right.
That's right. Let me see. Get a couple comments up here. Yeah, Denise, everyone's wishing you well wishes, hoping you feel better.
thank you, Tashanka. Tashanka hooked you up.
Oh, let me
Yeah,
get on down here.
that's right, Jojo.
There, Dinkin and Drinkin sent
Hello,
me a
Vanessa.
picture. That's what's up. Shout out to Dinkin and Drinkin. Thank you, Smokey the Local Bear. Appreciate you being here. Welcome. All right, Tashanka, shout out, my brother. You are always coming through. Like you really are a true brother. Like despite that, we talk, and I send mine to Amy, the family, but shout out to you for that super chat. I definitely appreciate it, and
Your
that's
little
great.
drunken chef.
Hey, Rich. Órale, cultura.
I see Rich.
Rich, where you at, Rich? Let me get down there, guys. I apologize. There you are, Rich. Alrighty, let me just move quickly, real quick. Tashanka, good to see you, bro. I send mines. What's up, Rich? He's only scary when he's got the lokes on, Cultura. Remember when he said that about your picture? That's funny. So my weekend and week was just it was stressful, but the typical stress like mom, family. My mom, praise God, has overcome the I won't say the full word, but the bid she had. She was sick,
Oh,
and thank God that was something that
Yeah,
passed.
hey, I just want to say his prayers for Sonny Boy, man, because he's got that right now, and
Oh
he's,
no.
yeah, I seen his things. Prayers for Sonny Boy, man, and it is going around again. My sister up north had it too, so
Yeah.
just
I
gotta
think
live life and be careful, man.
right. I think it was to Denise. I was like, hey, something's going on. Like, because, a few people, if they want to say so or not, have come up with it. So, yeah, prayers to
Yeah,
Sunny.
wow.
yeah, yeah.
But she came through. My aunt got sick right after she came through. So, um, it just, it's, I don't know. It's something about being maybe you can relate to Drina, like and you too have like when you're the daughter or the son, and either when they were or if your parents are alive, you start to feel like, wow, okay, I feel like I gotta take care of things now. And
Yep. I
you
can, man, I understand that 100%. That's how with my dad, when I was, it was just me and my older brother. He's 4 years
right.
older than me. When he passed away. So I was my
Mhm.
dad's only child. So as he got up in age, then I took on the
Mhm.
responsibility to, take him to his grocery shopping, pick up his groceries, get him something to eat, take him to the doctor, and just took on those
Mhm.
responsibilities. So it's a blessing,
Yeah,
to do that for our parents. Those of us who
right.
have, the opportunity to do that, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's
It definitely is. Oh my
it's
goodness.
a blessing. If you have your parents, you know, I would,
I'd rather see the family members keep their mother or father at home than in a home. You know,
yeah,
it's not allowed. When they put my mom in a home, I'm like, my older sister did that. All of a sudden, she put her in a home. I didn't like it, because they didn't take care of her. She split her head open and all this stuff. So we
Mhm.
brought her home.
mm.
Uh,
Sometimes though, a home might be better, just depending on the situation and the circumstances. Because my ex mother in law, she had dementia, and
Mhm.
we try to keep her home, and
Yeah.
she would come over to my house and stay the day with me. But I was working from home, but I couldn't really concentrate on work because she was like just do like a lot of things that I just wasn't giving her the
Mhm.
best care.
well,
So
Yeah.
you know what? We have a big family, so that's why it's better that way. But to see my mom suffer from dementia towards her later years, and to see, because my mom never cussed, I never heard her say anything. But when she had dementia, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
she was bringing those words out, man.
Yeah. It changes,
Yeah.
it's crazy because you never know how. Again, shout out to Tashanka. I just got to your comment, your super chat. Thank you so much. Um, it changes people in different ways. Like for my grandfather, for example, he was always like, machismo, the macho man, the like supporter of the entire family, could work a 26-hour shift, not break a sweat, work the fields, like, helped everybody that needed help, and just really set the bar high. I'll say that for sure. And when he started to get ill, with dementia, Alzheimer's, it's almost like it made him very childlike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he wanted to make sure. My grandpa specifically asked us, please don't ever put me in a home. Now, there's some people, I have an aunt who has asked her kids to be placed in a home. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the situation. But
true.
fortunately, we were blessed that we took shifts with my grandfather, with myself, my
Yes.
mother, my aunt. But it just depends on the family unit and what works best for each individual person. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Very
That's
true.
true. That's true.
If it were me, like when I get up there in age and I might need care, if I
Mhm.
have dementia or even if I just can't care for myself, I don't know if I want
Mhm.
to put that burden on my kids. I would like to prepare now or like to think that I've prepared that,
Mhm.
I'm unable to care for myself,
Yeah.
that they'll be able to put me somewhere that is a high level of care,
Yeah.
a nice place or, close by or something like that. But I would hate for them to have to stop their life to have to, care for me in
I
ways that,
just.
My dad's 97 and he has dementia, right? And I laugh with him, and I still enjoy his presence when I see him, right? One time he came up and he says, "Hey, I own all this property, and if you ever go to Vegas, you tell him my name, and you'll be good in there, right?" And he goes, "I got all these diamonds and all this other stuff," and I went along with this story. Okay, Dad, all right.
Yeah.
So one day he comes back. He comes to the house, and I went. And earlier that day, I went to the store and got these cubic zirconians,
Oh no,
and
you.
took them out of the earrings and everything. And then I said, "Hey, check it out, Dad. I got you something." So I went and handed it to him. He's looking at me like, oh man. He goes, these are mine. I said, yeah, keep them, put them in your pocket, and don't give them to nobody. But I kind of like, I know what he's going through, but I just went along with it. I don't know if it's wrong or right or wrong, but I just
Mhm.
know that it's just the dementia
Yeah,
talking. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, yeah,
No, I get what you're saying. I don't feel like, it didn't cause him any harm, and it
yeah,
went along with the story he told. So I don't think, like with my grandfather, I think he would have, like, had he had his right mind, I think he would have chose exactly like you said, Drina. He would have not wanted to be a burden, or feel like a burden, but his came on so suddenly. It's almost like it just took that ability away. So,
I don't know if that's it's different in everybody, but my dad was 95 years at this time.
mhm.
My sister was coming down the street in her car, and he goes, "Hey, Stella's coming." There she is, right there. I go, man, he knows Stella's coming. He must be up there, or he remembers that, but he don't remember the younger ones, And I'm number 12, so
Okay.
it's like. Then I used to talk. Then after I know I correction because after I talked to him and I finally says, "Hey, Dad, I love you." After 55 years, he says, "I love you, son." And he looked at me. He goes, "I love you, son." So that's telling me that some part he remembers something, or
Mhm.
something's in there clicking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
that's something hope the young people think about when you're caring for your mom and dad, grandparents, and keep that in mind.
If I if I get like that, I'm gonna be one of those crazy little guys. Hey, what's
No.
up?
Oh no.
I like to think so, right?
Right?
Yeah,
Dementia is it's hurtful to watch them go through that. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
hurtful, like I speak on my ex mother in law. It's hurtful for me to see her and know how she used to be, spunky and in
yeah.
control, and now it's like she have her lucid moments, and then
Mhm.
her moments where she thinks that the grandchildren are her older children when they were babies.
Oh wow.
My dad would do that because he at one point he referred to me as his dad. He goes,
Mhm.
"Hey, Dad," and
Yeah.
he had years ago when he was younger, he had a good friend named Frank. Now, my brother that takes care of him right now,
Mhm.
that's his name. He goes, "Hey, Frank," because when I'd watch my dad and my brother had to go do something, he
Yeah.
goes, "Where's Frank at?" Oh, Frank will be back in a little bit. Okay, all right, and he just knows him as Frank.
Oh,
But that's his son. Yeah. But you know
right.
what? I look at it and like my mom, it was kind of when she was normal. I used to love it all that because she was an outgoing person and nothing stopped her from doing anything. But
Mhm.
to see her go downward, I just try to go along with it and just love her still. You know what I'm saying? Just give her that love because I remember one picture that we have together. I'm with my hat and all dressed up nice, and she has her
Mhm.
little big old hat like this, and she's looking at me. She says, "Hey, who's this handsome guy next to me?" She says, "So I'm your son,
Oh,
mom."
that's
But she's but you just go along with them. That's how I took it, and it was a blessing. Did it bother me to see her like that? Nah, I just went along with it and says, just thankful she's still alive and still here. You know what I'm saying? That's how I took it.
that's right.
You know,
Amen. Prayers to Cricket. Also, I didn't realize he was sick as
I
well.
didn't either, man. I pray us up for cricket, man.
Yeah, yeah. I have to acknowledge this, you guys. Check it out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Strange
strange days.
weather.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
hooking you up, Jen. Thank
yeah.
you, Strange
Right.
Days, for hooking her up, man.
Man, I'm telling you, what a blessing. These
Wow.
two
Yep, yep.
have been, these two
Thank you, Strange Days.
super
Good guy
chats.
right there,
It's a
man.
challenging
Good
week,
guy.
and I see that God is working through the people I love, and I hope I can pour
Yeah.
that back into you guys.
Blessings, man.
So
Blessings.
he says, wish Rubes good luck for all the back to school mañana. Yes, get yourself and Rubes ice cream after school. Hey, you don't have to tell me twice. Or thank thank you so much. I hope you're doing well.
Hey,
Um,
Jen, do they have 31 flavors over there where you're at?
So it's about 12 miles from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about 12 miles. Yeah.
Old school 31 flavors.
Oh, yeah,
Old school.
Yeah. Nothing like old school, right? Like,
Right.
you can't beat that. You can't beat it. I just want to bring up real quick because I missed out on it, but apparently some people saw this fight. And there was this boxing, I think, was it boxing? I know there's was a boxing, well, former YouTuber or YouTuber, now boxer, and MMA that had a match, and that was Jake Paul and
Nate
Nick
Diaz.
Diaz. I was going to say Nick. I have a cousin,
Is
Nick
it
Diaz.
Nick Diaz or Nate? I think it's
It's
Nick,
Nate.
huh?
No, you're right. You're right. I
Oh,
think it's
yeah.
Nate. Yeah,
One
I
of the
should
two.
know this because he's from up here too. It's Nate Diaz, and I missed out on it, but I know a lot of our people in here will want to know about it. But I did read this, so let me just say this real quick. So Jake Paul and Nate Diaz both were suspended following their August 5th boxing match.
Hmm.
Paul and Diaz received a complete 31-day medical suspension after 10 rounds. YouTuber slash turned boxer Jake Paul defeated the now UFC. I can't read my own handwriting. That's pretty bad. Former challenger Nate Diaz, winning by a unanimous decision. Also, several other opponents, I believe, like 13 other fighters were suspended due to medical reasons. I don't know what those, the details of it, but
Wow.
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Was
How
that just in that day? That because when I turned it on, there was a lot of fights, preliminary fights and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I believe it was all the fighters from that day, if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken. Anyone in the comments or if anyone on the panel knows, go ahead and correct me, but they were suspended for 31 days. I don't know what that entails, but
That's crazy.
yeah. House, did you catch the fight?
Yeah, I watched the fight, and I thought the girls' fight was way much better than the Jake Paul fight. Man, the girls were putting in
Mhm.
some work and really getting down. But you always see their fights, and they're very entertaining. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But uh, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, when I saw him in the room preparing for his fight, he was moving around, bam, bam, hitting, doing some good boxing moves. But when he got out there to box, it's like he didn't want to fight or he thought it was a joke. And
Mhm.
then he was just doing all this clowning. And then it was like this. I don't know if you ever had a dream that when you're fighting in your dream and you swing your arms and they're just going like this, boom, just real easy. That's what it looked like when he was boxing with him, you
Mhm.
know, and like it was planned, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I didn't really care for that fight, you know. I
Okay.
really didn't care for that fight, but Jake Paul, uh, if you look at these YouTuber guys, they're picking dudes that are way older than them, and then these younger cats are in tip top condition, and those other cats aren't. You know what I mean? And it's a whole total different ball game. It's not
Mhm.
UFC fighting; it's boxing. That's different, you know. But
Completely.
yeah, to me, I didn't really. I dug some of the earlier fights, which
Yeah.
was cool, but the other one, nah.
So it
I
was
was
Jake
like, it
Paul
was sad.
was
Yeah,
was
Jake Paul.
the main event.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Because
it's
I was reading about that at the all 18 fighters were suspended, right?
yes, I believe so.
Suspension.
And they all said, yeah, medical reasons.
Well, it says that MMA Junkie acquired the list from the commissioning body on Monday, and the list
Really?
includes suspension duration without specifics. So after that event, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation issued medical suspensions to all 18 fighters.
Oh, thank you, Trina. Yeah, I
Wow.
wonder exactly what that's all about. But that's some detailed information. So interesting, interesting. Hey, E, what's up? Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out. It'll come out. That's kind of breaking if they just released that on Monday.
Was something being passed around?
Hey, for all 18 of them to be suspended, I mean, there's got to be something to that. That was according to USA Today, and that
Yeah.
let me see how.
So that's a pretty reliable, yeah, source.
Yeah, that is a reliable source, and that's August 8th. That's today. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
2
so that's
Eastern time.
breaking news. Breaking
Oh,
news. That's what the GOAT says they medically suspend every fighter. Okay.
for
Uh,
injuries.
yeah, for injuries.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
that's
Hmm.
crazy. They did it to so many. That must have been one heck of a fight night. Hey,
Yeah,
Mr. Oldies, shout
I
out.
hey, I know those two girls that fought because they I think they fought before, but that was a good fight. And that girl was getting beat up, but she was a fighter, man. She was staying in there. No matter you couldn't knock her out. That girl couldn't knock her out. One thing that I didn't know, I don't know about boxing in the ring, the clothing you're supposed to wear, and the boxing
Mhm.
equipment like the shoes. But that girl came out with Nikes on, and I think it was Nikes, and she boxed in Nikes.
Were they Cortezes?
Yeah, I know, but they questioned her. They questioned her about the
Yeah.
shoes, and she
Yeah.
goes, "It's for the
Really?
Dallas Cowboys." But I'm
Okay.
looking. That gave her at least an inch height over that other girl.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that. Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
her boxing style was on up to par, man. I mean, boxing like a textbook, man. Just bam, she was there. The other girl was just more of a like a brawler and could take some punches, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. Tashanka says, I can't believe Jake, I think he meant, but Jake Paul Diaz, he called him a man. He called him a man's got cauliflower ear, broken nose, scars, and all over face Diaz. Wow. And it is definitely not what the man called him. It was disrespectful. You know what? I feel like these, and no offense to the young men, young ladies, I feel like that's part of their get down is the trolling or the clowning, whether it be, sports
The trash
related,
talk up to the fight. Yeah, yeah,
or boxing. And if anyone doubts what I'm saying, there's actually something on Netflix. I think it's called The Problem Child, which is what Jake Paul's referred to.
yeah,
And it, he basically admits in there that's his thing. That's his get down. You
yeah.
know. Shout out to
Well, they
Chicano.
all do that up to the fight, man. Like I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna knock you out in the first round. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Jake Paul did say he was gonna take him out in the fifth round, and he happened to go down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Exactly. Shout out to Chicano Tube. That's the homeboy right there. And Mrs. Chicano Tube, shout out to her.
yeah.
And
Mr. Chicano too. Mikey would know more about the boxing.
I know, right? I'm
Yep,
sure he
yep.
has something on it. I want to hear Mikey's opinion. I'm sure he's got, you know what I mean? I know he's got the inside scoop of what all that means, the suspension and all that. But let me get these comments caught up and we're going to move on to one of our topics because I feel like we got some good ones. That's right. That's right. Thank you again. Check out Mr. Look at you guys are blessing me. I
Amen,
want to
amen.
you, but thank you guys. Thank you, hermano, for the great conversation always. Thank you, Mr. Tube. Thank you, Mikey. I much, much appreciate it. And God bless you and the family. I appreciate you so much. That's right.
Oh, Mikey's got that voice in the ring, man, to be
Oh,
that announcer, man.
yeah, we
He's
talked
got
about
it.
that when you know how some people, I always feel like he's like the Luther Vandross of the
Boxing
boxing announcer. Yeah,
announcer, yeah, ring
yeah,
announcers.
yeah, that's right. So let me ask you guys this. We've got a couple, topics that are trending that we're going to get to. But I'm asking, I just thought of, not that I'm the only one that thought of this, but I thought of this and then I thought of it for personal reasons, for reasons to do with friends, and just really truly out of curiosity. What do you guys think, panel members, And everyone in the chat, we need you to chirp in on this and let us know, what do you think about going 50-50? And what I mean by that, I don't mean just, platonic friends. I mean if you're in a relationship with someone. And 50-50 can mean many different things. I'm not just talking about household expenses, but we can get down to the nitty-gritty of things. But what is your opinion, Trina, of going 50-50, male and female?
That is a great question and a great topic, and something needs to be discussed. Um, in a relationship, this is my personal opinion. I'm no psychologist or therapist or anything like that. My
Mhm.
opinion, my personal opinion on in relationships, um, both parties need to pull their weight. For
Okay.
me, it doesn't necessarily have to be 50-50 because for me, the way that I'm thinking, the way that I'm looking at this is I may not have 50 right now. I may not have 50% of the bills. I may not have 50% of the energy. I may not have 50% of the love right now. I may not have 50% of the happiness because happy times come and go due to life circumstances and daily hassles and life
Mhm.
changes. Um, but what I do have, I'm going to give you 100 of that. Okay,
Mhm.
what I can give, you know, I may not make more money than you right now, but at one time maybe I did and you didn't. But when you didn't, you gave what you had and you didn't
Mhm.
withhold it from me. So that's my take on, regardless, if, like you said, doesn't have to be just straight financial or, in all the categories of a relationship. I feel that you're going to give what you have if you love that
Mhm.
person. If that person loves you, they're going to give what they have. They're going to give their last without you even having to ask.
Mhm.
They're going to know what you need before you tell them, this is what I need. If they're invested.
Okay, I was about to say, that sounds beautiful. And you're right. That point right there, if they're invested. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Emotionally invested, absolutely. But, at our age right now, we should be dating with intention. That's just my
Yeah,
personal opinion. Um, because we don't have that time. We don't have that time. We're not in our 20s, our early 20s.
that's right.
We're 30 and up.
Yep.
So therefore, if we're not dating with intention, then we're not living in reality.
Absolute facts. Yeah, I agree completely.
I
Household,
agree. I agree 100% on that. What she said. I'm
yeah.
going to say the same thing. Go back basically off of what you said because I think the same way. You give all that you got. It's not a 50-50 thing.
Mhm.
I feel like me. Okay, I'm old fashioned. I always took care of the bills and everything. But you know what? One year I experienced this. I got injured,
Mhm.
and my money stopped, and the other significant other had to put some work in, and they did. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And so to me, but otherwise, other than that, I was always the one to provide for the bills. But even like housework or something, I'd come home, I'd help her do the housework or do what I'm supposed to do, the hard, heavy lifting, all the other stuff, and even cook dinner with her. You know what I'm saying? And you put what you got in your heart in a relationship, because that's what's going to keep it going. When
Yeah.
you start thinking like a percentage, that's where you fail. You just put your heart into your relationship and give what you got.
Yeah.
And when one's down, like if somebody's sick, like if my back then when my ex-wife was sick, I
Mhm.
went and I took care of her, you know, and because I had to. I'll cook for her. I'll do whatever I had to, because that's just a part of being in a relationship.
Right.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
The 50-50 thing. Even like she says, when you're invested, you in
Yeah.
somebody, yeah, which is true. You give it your all, man, because that's the only way your relationship's going to work. Now, just I could say this is I'm not no psychiatrist or no this and that. My relationship ended, but it was on other terms, different things. I tried. I gave him my all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just put it to a closure. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I had to do because it was very draining. And do I hate that person now? No, I
Mhm.
have no hatred towards that person. No, no ill thoughts or nothing. Because you know what? There was a lesson that I learned from that. You
Mhm.
know, meaning I should have gave more.
Mhm. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that makes sense as well. The goat Drina said that he's completely on board with what you said. Like he agrees with the way you put that.
Cool.
Yeah. It's something that. So when I first thought of the topic, when I was watching some news outlets, videos, I thought 50-50. I'm going to be honest. That at first was a difficult thing to me to think of because like I said, I'm gonna be honest. The way I grew up, my grandfather, my dad, my stepdad, they were like, you know, men's men. Like, hey, we got this. But no, I don't want to overstep and say that completely because it was old school. Like the women had the household things, the
Hmm.
children rearing, like so that isn't always considered into the 50-50. You know what I mean? When people start chalking it up to, is this, part of it? But I notice more and more, in our current day and age that it's financial.
Yeah.
But it made me think of situations that I've been in, and it's not always the other part, like the what goes on in the household, taking care of the children, isn't always considered part of the 50-50. It's like,
Watch.
well, that's your job. You know what I mean?
You,
That's
you, you know that you said that, Jen? And this is an example how I was as a dad.
uh-huh.
I had twin boys. We had twin boys, right? And my job, I was getting up in the middle of the night and feeding them. They never had the same schedule. And I had
Really?
to go to work the next morning. So, and she did also. So, what we did is I'm a father. That doesn't mean that she has to do all the other stuff. I changed the diapers. I took care of my sons. I rocked them to sleep, because that's my blood. That's
Mhm.
my, that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like you do your job as a father and you
Yeah.
take care of your kids and we matter no matter what it takes. So, and I enjoyed it, because I was there early in the morning. Yeah, I was tired as heck going to work, but it was part of life. I didn't expect my wife at that time to just do everything because there is some families that do that.
Yeah.
Oh no, you just get up for them because I work. No, no, no. You do your job as a dad, and you do it, and you build that bond and that relationship with your kids, and yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Everybody's situation is different. Let me
yeah.
share something with you. When my children were young, like they're 25 and 27 now, or 24 and 27, and then
Yeah.
I'm my 14-year-old. But the older ones, when they were younger, my full time job was 100% travel. So that meant that I was on the road across country or in another
Mhm.
country for most of their coming up. So their father had to take them to school, get them, make sure they eat, make sure they do their homework, make sure they bathe, all of that. But except for when I came home on either every other weekend or
Hmm.
for a at a time, 2 weeks at a time. So
Mhm.
if you talk about 50-50, that would be 50-50, I guess. I'm doing my part and he's doing his part, but as a whole, we're keeping our family going. So everybody's circumstances are different. So now my son, he's older, he works, and
Saludos, hard life.
stays home
Yeah.
Mhm.
with the children because that's how they designed it to be,
Okay.
and they're good with it, and it works for them.
Yes.
Yeah, every situation's different. Everything's totally different. Who's the
Yeah.
bread maker? Sometimes I see relationships where the woman is the lady is a bread maker, man. She makes some money, and the man does the other stuff. I see that depends on what makes you feel comfortable in your relationship. And it works. What works for that relationship
And then what
to
makes
continue?
common sense? What's
Yeah,
practical? Is it
Yes.
is it
yeah,
is it would it be easier or would it make sense
correct.
for
There, yep.
for her to go to work and him to stay home with the kids
Mhm.
if she got the medical benefits
Yes.
or she could cover the whole family with the life insurance and the job pays into all of that
Right.
versus her stay home and then he worked the labor jobs that don't pay into health care and all of that. You have to make it
Yeah.
make sense.
Exactly. I feel like, not going too deep, but I feel like you mentioning your son and his family, Drina, they've got it figured out. That
Yeah,
they really do.
I agree
Um,
with that.
yeah. So here's one thing that I looked up. So if let's say, and it's not always the man. I believe me, I see a lot of women pressuring men about this. But let's say a male or a female says, we're going 50-50 on the bills. Should it be considered how much money each individual is bringing into the home? Let's say I'm only bringing in 25,000 a year, and the man was bringing in 80,000. Should it still be 50-50, or is
That's
that
what
a
I'm
too?
not. How does that even work? That's
Thank
common
you.
sense, and that is one of the problems with Americans right now is that we're not using our common sense. We're marrying because we're in love, and love does not pay the bills. Other
Mhm.
cultures and countries marry for other reasons other than love. That's why
Right.
the United States has the highest rate of divorce or for divorce
Correct.
because we're
Correct.
marrying for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And if you
Yes.
put us with someone like Jen said is making $25,000 a year and you're making 80,000 a year and you expect that person to go 50-50, what type of life first of all, a person that's making $80,000 a year has a different type of lifestyle than a person that's making 25,000 a year. So let's be clear
Exactly.
about that.
Exactly. Okay.
If you don't
That
put
Yeah.
was
that up front, then what are we doing? We're wasting time. And then you're gonna be 50 and up trying to figure out so what am I doing in my life?
hmm hmm
With someone who can't meet my needs, and my need is I want them to pay 50% of the bills. So why would I get somebody who's making 25,000 a year and I'm making 80, and I know my lifestyle is up there?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I say something here real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay. Like me growing up, I never seen this, but it was instilled in me. Where it comes from, I don't know. But I always was the one that paid for like everything. And that's how I felt like that's what a man does. And I wouldn't ask a woman to pay 50% of the bills. But then again, like one time when I was injured, I needed some income and she had income. I put my pride aside and says, you know what? I'm thankful and grateful that she can do that at this time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just, is that wrong for me to want to always pay for everything to take care of the woman that I'm with and pay for all that stuff?
Absolutely.
I don't see no 50-50 or nothing like that. And I've always been like that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's old fashioned, is it or not?
It is considered that way probably nowadays. I'm
Mhm.
probably sounding like a real old head here saying it, but I'm going to tell you what I think and how I was brought up and how I don't know. I guess how I think. So that is the same way I was brought up. Now, mind you, if my loved one spouse was injured, I got that. I will figure out a way. I will figure
Hmm.
out a way, a hustle, legal, obviously, but I got that because I see that it's obviously something that you can't help. It's something that happens in life. I don't feel like it's wrong if
You know,
that's
for you know what I learned is like pride is not of God, right?
no. Hey,
And
pride
so
was
when I bring that pride up,
yeah,
that was kind of like ruining a relationship rather than saying, you know what, she's got my back.
yeah,
Thank you. More than accepting it, But then the man thing, I said, pride and the enemy. I said, man, you know what? I learned to be humble and say
mhm.
and thank that person for doing what they did.
Yeah. Pride,
And
like you said, pride was the original sin.
yeah,
So, you
yeah.
know,
And pride's no good. And so I learned that. It's just I don't know, just being a man, because I always done that. But there was a point in time in my life where I would do it and I would continue doing what I was doing if I wouldn't have got injured. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
but the thing in a relationship, man, just do for others. Be a giver, man. Be a giver, no matter what. And is everybody's life peaceful? And no, you're gonna have your bad days, but if
Mhm.
that person needs space too, give them space. Let them sit down to think about everything and cool down, and then get back to talking, communicate. You know what I'm saying? Communication, very important. Yep.
Right.
Extremely, extremely
Yep.
important. I agree with you also, bro, because um, men, like women, we look at our men, typically, we look at our men, or the majority of us look at our men to protect us and to provide for us, right? And when we say
Mhm.
protect and provide, we're not necessarily meaning that you're protecting us from physical harm. Of course, physical harm, but not just physical harm. You're protecting our emotions, you're protecting
Yeah.
our hearts, you're protecting us from all those things. You should be, your radar should be up in all areas. How can
Mhm.
you protect us?
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
provide doesn't necessarily mean just financial. What else are you providing? You're providing security, convenience, saving time, saving money. You're providing a safe place, a safe place for us to be able to be vulnerable, to open up.
Yeah.
So protecting and providing has always been reared into me. How what the man is supposed to bring to the table.
Right.
Another thing is like when I see now these days, because again I'm old fashioned, is when
Mhm.
I'm walking down the street, I'm always on the outer side for protection. To
Yeah.
keep, she's the woman's walking on the inside, not behind me, next to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I've always see that. Now I see all the girls walking on the outside and the guys in the inside. Like
Right.
something's going on here.
Feel
What's
that,
what,
right?
what's in the water? I'm like, what's in the
Right.
water here, man? And
Yeah.
or you know what I've been seeing lately, and it cracks me up. And no disrespect to any of the ladies out there or nothing like that, but when I watch these cruising car shows and stuff, and I
Mhm.
see these ladies on these Harleys, riding the Harleys and everything, come pulling up in the Harley, and the dudes aren't doing that. I'm like, some of them also, it kind of like says, "What's going on?" But
Yeah.
but I'm not hating on them because they choose that and that's what they want to do. But another thing is that I've been seeing a lot is a lot of girls are dancing with girls, and I know that's been going on for years. And a
Mhm.
lot of men are dancing with men all the
Mhm.
time, and I see that as what happened to the old days, when you get that girl and you go dance with that girl or whatever. You know what I mean? I guess
Mhm.
because I'm up there, that's why things are changing in the society now these days. And
Yeah.
I'd rather stay old school, keep it old school. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what tripped me out? And I mean, to each his own, right? But one thing that caught my attention a couple times now is I pulled up to get gas and I got out to get my gas and I noticed the female was pumping the gas and old boy was in the car on his phone.
Oh,
I'm telling
dude.
you, if my pops would have seen that, it would not have been good.
Yeah.
That's just straight up respect.
Yeah.
That's
You
disrespectful.
know,
That's
you know what I don't like is
broke.
you know what I don't like seeing is when a woman steps in for a man when something's happening
Good
and jumps
point.
in for a man. No, I don't see that. And they're all like, hey, wait, no, you
Yeah,
know, that doesn't happen. You know,
that's a good
she
point.
should be in the back. You
Yeah, it's
know,
going to go into sort of our next topic. But with that said, okay, here's what I'll say about that. If my if my man was getting stomped out, God forbid, and it meant life or death, I probably not probably I would. Otherwise, people say stay out of men's business, and I do for the most part, other than my sons. But if it was a life and death situation, I'm going to risk that. Um, there was
well, I could that's understandable because I mean, okay, this happened to me in my lifetime when I was younger. I
Mhm.
pulled up to a store, and back then they didn't have cell phones, so I was going to stop at the phone booth to make a phone call, right? So I'm in my car, and my lady's next to me, right? So then
Mhm.
this guy comes up over here, and he stops by my window talking crap to me, just saying everything, and I'm looking. I don't even know the guy, right? So she goes, "Don't you go fight him. Don't you just don't do it." I said, "Okay, I'll sit in here, let him go on his way. I won't do nothing." And then, so all of a sudden he started saying, "Hey, yeah, listen to your lady, and started cussing at me and blah, blah, this and that, right?" And I let that go. I ate it. I sucked it up. And then I says, but I told her I have to go make a phone call. He stepped to the back of the vehicle. I'm going to just jump out and just go make the phone call right now.
Mhm.
So I got out of the car to make the phone call, and he started walking back towards me. So when I was walking this direction and he was coming from behind me, when he got closer to me, because I knew he was coming, then I turned around and I just started pop out. I just started dropping him and hitting him. And then, so right there in the parking lot, he fell to the ground and he's ripping my shirt, right?
Oh, wow.
So and I
Mhm.
was swinging on him. Then she's in the car, and all of a sudden, I heard the car open and she got out. And then, after he was laying on the ground, she came and she kicked him.
Mhm.
And then we took off and bounced. And then his friends come. I go, oh no. I go, hey man, I'll tell you what, this dude, you need to keep him in check, man, because he came up to me trying to start some, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to play poo, but just say, just ignore it. But when
Mhm.
he's coming after me, then I turned around and defended myself. And,
Yeah.
to me, it's like, she came out and did that, but she didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to, but I guess she felt like it. But in your situation, like if somebody's getting stomped out, you protect your mate. The best you can, man. You protect them. Because that's your significant other, man. And
Yeah.
I'm a Christian and stuff like that. And forgive me, Father God. It's like I don't go out and cause trouble. I don't go out and do this and that, but I will defend myself. I haven't
As
learned
you
that.
should.
I
As
haven't
you
learned
should.
that turn that other cheek yet. And but out of mine would be out of righteousness. I would say, Father God, give me the strength, bam, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Exactly. I think that that's like a different thing. But I do want to just read this comment real quick because it's a valid point. Rich says, I know women who have had their kids' dads' rights taken away because they make the income and did not want to milk him for child support, but she lets him see the kids. They agreed to no court. I feel like I don't want to be in court either. You know what I mean? I've done that one go round. But I do feel like when it comes to milk, You know what I mean? Like, that's just common sense. And I know what you mean, Rich. I've seen the same thing. I have friends that do the same.
Let me tell you about Riverside County. They'll milk you and they'll milk you and they'll milk you. But like what he was saying is, I went in. I was going to court for years and years because, how would I say, I had custody of all my kids,
Hmm.
but I tried to, as a good man, I tried to say, okay, because I see that it affected my kids.
Hmm.
So what can I do to make everybody happy? So I was trying to talk to my ex-wife and saying, hey, I'll let them, let's do this. So we'll do 50-50. When they're at your house, they're at your house all the time together. When they're at my house, they're at my house all the time together, to work something out. Once I opened that sliver, and it went from there, and it was like we were in court for years
Hmm.
because uh, she was trying to take custody of them, and my daughter was a challenge, my older one, and I don't blame her because she was going through a lot. And I would be in it because I'd be sitting in her classroom saying, no, watching her because she was cutting class. Man, there was times where I got off in midday. I came down. She's not in class. I searched the area, went to the back. She was with all the homies in the backfield. I went and snatched her up, said, "You get in class," and because her mom wanted to take her away, you know what I'm saying, and that was given opportunity. No, so I wasn't going to allow that.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes the milking thing, man. They will milk you, man. And even when we had 50%, 50-50, because I made more, I was still having to put out more money. You
Hmm.
know, and my daughters are expensive, man. I mean, because they're older, and
Hmm.
they cost all the stuff for the clothing and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And it was costly. And then again, I still took care of my sons. I always
Hmm.
bought them clothes, always did what I had to do, and had insurance for them and everything.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Saludo,
We need more
Shout
men
out
like
to a
you.
trucker. What was
saludos,
that?
cholo trucker.
What was that, Drina?
We need more men like him.
Hey, that's what's up. But
Hands
I
on.
just want to say, my sons were probably more expensive than my daughters, but it's because I kept them in sports. That's
Oh
Yeah,
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 expensive.
yeah.
yeah,
So I don't regret that because it kept them off the streets. You know what I
mhm,
mean?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
My son grew up in the age where everything was video games and
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Right there,
my
Drina.
daughters grew up in the age where there was cheerleading, and that's expensive.
Wow.
So we traveled Vegas,
Yeah.
everywhere for competitions and all that. But
Yeah.
then my 14-year-old, she grew up with social media.
Okay.
So
Give me a
it's kind of
second.
like, okay, so what sport are we doing? We're gonna do
Yeah.
we're, we're gonna do wrestling. We're doing track. We're doing cross country. But when those seasons are off, it's all about social media.
Yeah. You're right. And cheerleading is no joke. I've
Tell me
got
about
some of my
it.
primas that have their daughters in cheerleading, and
Yeah.
I thank God.
Mm, mm, mm.
Thank God none of my daughters were ever girly enough to want to do cheerleading, and I only say that because the price.
It's very expensive. It's back in the what was it, the early 2000s. My daughter was clearing $800 just for a uniform, and that's just the
That,
skirt
that
and the vest, and the
Oh
shoes was
no.
separate. 35, $40 for the shoes, and then the dues,
Oh,
having to go to practice, and
the
the
traveling.
the
The
traveling, yeah, all that, yeah.
not to say the what do you call that, the homecoming queen and all that other
all
stuff.
that.
The
All that.
rental of the convertible that I had to get, and all that.
Yeah. 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 So I want to ask this last topic on this, the whole 50-50 thing, and then we're going to move on to a viral moment that I feel like we need to touch on. Um, I know my partners here do too. So let's say there's a situation where the husband and wife have agreed, okay, the man says, I got it covered financially, but you take care of everything in the home. and that's agreed upon. If each couple is, that's their business. You know what I mean? But let's say there's a situation that occurs which is not an injury or something, you know, really difficult as far as that. Let's say, let's just say the husband decides, oh, I want to change careers, or I need some time off. Or the wife decides that. Let's make it even, you know. Now, am I still expected to pick up every single dish of yours, serve you on a platter, or is the man still expected to do the same? Or should we reevaluate the the equalness that we agreed upon before?
You know, can I say something? Or,
Please.
I feel like that's a serious something like that is something that you sit down and you talk to your mate about it, and it's not just overnight. You let it sit in your heads and your thing and think about it. So where all the pros and cons, about it.
Mhm.
But if a mate wants to say, "Hey, I want to go to school because I want to take this because it's going to benefit us later,"
Mhm.
then that's fine. And but as for the things like a man still should play, just because a man goes out there and works doesn't mean that he can't pick up after himself or he can't help out and clean up or do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You still have to do that. I mean, because you know what? In order to make things flow smoothly for both of you guys have to put, like Adrena says, 100% of what you got. You know, and that's mandatory because that's the only way you'll get through. Now, this you're talking to a man that's been married 2 times. First one 16 years, then 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And to me, um, you try all avenues, and things happen, and things happen in life. Things change, people change, things happen, but you still try to give it your best and do what you can to keep it together. You know, but as for it's still a man or woman, they should still do what they have to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes it easier when you work together. Is when you make progress and you're less stress in the home. Does that make sense? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just works a lot better in life. Because especially you'll have your disagreements, but when you have your disagreements, talk about it. Don't just let it go and
Yeah.
think it's going to be resolved. And one thing on the relationship though is like when you talk, don't talk out of hot headedness. Talk
Yeah.
calmly. You don't have to raise your voice. Don't raise. No, no. Sit down and find a solution to the problem.
Hmm.
You know, and that's it. That's very important, man. That's very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Drina? Should things be reevaluated at that point?
I think that we need to teach our kids and our daughters how to be modeled after the virtuous woman, the Proverbs 31 woman.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that we are ever going to meet her standards by any stretch of the imagination, but we
Yeah.
at least give her a blueprint that this is what a virtuous, these are the characteristics that I'm going to train you up for these characteristics. You're
Right.
independent. You can cook. You can clean. You can take care of the kids. You got businesses. You're an entrepreneur. You're business minded. You're educated. And we instill those virtues into our young girls and raise them up to be powerful and beautiful young women and wives if they so choose. Our men, we need to train our men that you need to know how to wash your own clothes. You need to know how to wash dishes. You know how to sew a button.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
ever depend on a woman or a man to do anything for you because you're gonna be independent. So I
Yeah.
had to tell my son, him and his girl, I talk about them a lot because I love my glam squad.
That's right.
21, they're barely 21 years old and made a family.
Yes.
Lived with me in his room. Okay. So I started looking at certain things. I knew they were going to be moving out, getting their own place. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, okay, so what is she going to do while he out at work all day? Let me just sit back and see what's going on here. Because I work from home, right? I was working from home. And he would get off work and come home and, they just order DoorDash like crazy. Left, right, left, right, left, right. I finally pulled her to the side and I say, check this out. Check this out, baby girl. I love you, right?
Yeah,
Cole's been at work all day. So you might want to, he loves, all you can cook is hot dogs and rice. You cook them hot dogs and that rice, girl. You make it good. Get home.
yeah.
I'm not cooking. Y'all done made a whole family. A whole family.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You got to train them up when they're younger. So then when they get older, they can do for themselves and not depend on the other person and know how
You know, you know
have that.
what's funny, Adrena, is when you're saying that, like my daughters, right? And they're men. They're men that they are with now, right? My daughters can be doing all that, putting doors up, doing this mechanic work and all this, and their mans can't. Their mans never were taught that. You know what I'm saying? So I see my daughter; she be doing car work or this and that because she was around me when I worked on my bombs. She was there. Dad, what are you doing? And she would be there and I'm looking and explaining things to her. So, or when I was remodeling the home, she knew, she saw, and she learned. And now, but to see that, I kind of laugh at my son-in-laws because I said, man, you better pick up that hammer and you better start putting those things together for my daughter, man, and learn. I can't do that. No, no, you better do it because my daughters will be doing it. But they got to step up and start doing some of those I don't know,
Absolutely.
manly things.
My daughter, my oldest daughter, as well, she's like 27. She know how to change brakes. I
Yeah,
don't, but she
Good
yeah,
does
for
because her
her.
father taught
Yeah.
her how to do it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
let me just address. I missed the comment, but I kind of saw it, but I didn't about the
Okay.
word train. Never train like a pet. Teach like a father. My son is 22 with a son too. He's learning how to be a man beside my help. I agree 100%. So interchangeably train, rear, um,
Teach all that.
teach, all of that. I say train up a child. I said train up a child because I am old school Baptist,
Biblical.
and
Yeah.
the scripture was train up a child the way that he should go, and when he gets old, he shall not depart. So when I say train in modern day, exactly what the person said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people will take it differently, like it's like an animal kind of
Yeah, I definitely
thing, or
don't mean it that way at all.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah,
we're not
yeah,
training anybody like a pet, but I am training as if you are on a job. I am preparing
Right.
you for how the real world works.
yeah.
Right.
Just like it says in Proverbs when it talks about a wisdom,
Yeah.
and it says she. It always refers to she,
Hmm.
and it's not a she, but they have to put something there. It's not talking about a woman or nothing. No,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
because they have when you write a book or write something, something has to play a role. And there it's so they she wisdom. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I get that 100%. Um, man, this was a good topic.
yeah. Well, it was, man.
Yeah, people are digging this. I'm like, yeah, this was a good one. We might have to do a part two to this one, you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely a good thing,
I
especially.
did stream it to my channel.
Yes,
I
you
think I
have
logged into
to.
the wrong StreamYard. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, link it,
I
and
couldn't do
replay
it. I'll
on
figure
it.
it out later.
You got a channel, Adrena?
I do. Drina's Haven 916.
Okay, Adrena's Haven
It's just
91.
Drina, like my name, Brena.
Okay,
Drina.
And I'll have it linked in our
There you
description
go.
of this
Yes,
live.
thank you.
Absolutely. You guys go check her out and subscribe.
Drena's Haven, two
Nine.
E's.
Hmm?
Is there
D
two E's in Drena?
no, mm-mm.
Okay,
Drena apostrophe S.
okay,
Jen will put the link to my channel
Yes,
in the
we'll have
description.
it linked. We'll have Drina's and House's channel linked here. Um,
okay.
I'm going to switch over to the next viral, like news topic. And everyone just chime in, in the chat and
Hello,
we're
Darlene. Hello,
yes, shout out to
Cholo.
everyone.
Yeah,
Yes, we appreciate all of you guys.
yep, yep.
So there has been this, let me see. I think I may have saved a couple intros to this, but I'm sure people have heard about it. There was a major brawl, and I could call it something else. We'll get into it. That happened in Alabama, I believe, on a waterfront, a dock, maybe, and there was a situation where people were on a I don't want to call it I don't know if it's called a ship or something, a boat. And other
Up,
smaller boats were
yeah.
parking and picking people up or whatever they do. Well, these uh, patrons or whatever they were told not to park their or park, it sounds funny being in the water, but place their boat there, and that was made clear. They did so anyways, and unfortunately, a gentleman who was an employee came out, who was dropped off there to, I think, deal with the situation and just say, can you please move the vessel, and we have to do some things here. He just was doing his job, and he was, in my opinion, I'm speaking, and from what I saw on video, was assaulted, attacked, jumped
Yeah.
by, I don't even know how many people. It looked something like 6 to 8.
At
Like
the
I said,
beginning, it was like about one, two, and then it started. Then about six of them
horsemen,
became a lady too. Yeah, yeah.
one or two ladies, yeah.
But prior to that, he did move the pontoon boat
Hmm.
and he tied it up again. He just, I guess, pushed it back or whatever, and he tied it up again. But I guess when he was pointing and telling the man that that's the parking, I'm assuming, because he was pointing,
Sure.
and that other guy just took flight and just came and nailed him.
Came in hot. One of them
Yeah,
was talking, but you could tell it was getting aggressive. And
yeah.
then old boy came flying down the ramp with no shirt, and it was just ridiculous.
I'm not trying to make light of the situation here, but when that guy took his hat off and threw it up like this, like whoosh, like a distress signal or whatever, he just went. Whoosh. I think he
Yeah,
went pretty high. I was like, hey, because he's a shit man. Is it a boat? But then, because that's a sign like it's on, man, right there. That's when he says
And you
it's
know,
on and cracking, man.
it's unfortunate that had to happen.
Yeah,
It's very, very unfortunate that it had to come to that.
yeah,
And just to be clear, the riverfront dock, where in Montgomery, Alabama, where the the boat comes and it take people out. They have festivities and things like that. The the white family that had the boat was told to move their boat 45 minutes prior to
yeah,
that even happening.
yeah,
The
yeah.
black man that you see fighting them at the beginning was part of the crew, and
yeah. He was.
he was on the boat with the festivities going on. And when they got back, they couldn't park the boat. They couldn't park because the platoon was there. So a passerby or another small boat came by, picked him up, brought him to the dock where he had to remove their boat. Move it. He moved it. You can see him untying it, moving it, and tying it back again, right? We all saw it on video. And words were exchanged. But prior to him coming over, the people on the boat in the water were shouting, obscenities and things like
Yeah.
that, according to the what is it, the district attorney guy who was giving his his spill, and letting us know that people were arrested and charges were filed for the three initial aggressors.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it had to come to that because it could have just been a one-on-one fight. I hate that it even had to come to a fight, but it is something that needs to be talked about. It
Yeah.
needs to be talked about because any one of us could be in that situation, right? It doesn't matter like the color of your skin or what culture or race you are. If you are under attack, then you have every right to defend yourself. Or if you see somebody else under attack, you have every right to go and defend them.
Yeah.
Or to de-escalate the situation. So unfortunately, it had to go down like that, and Brawl, broke out all over the place, and people got hurt, people got arrested, and all of that. But as a Black woman, I have to speak on it. As a woman of color, I have to say that it was sad to see it, to watch it, but it's like you can't take your eyes off of it because it's like, wow, look at that. Look at the little boy, the 16-year-old boy jumping in
Jumped off the ship. Yeah. Yep.
across, and to everybody want to jump in and help. But it didn't have to come to that though.
Right.
It didn't have to come to that. Move your freaking boat.
That's it. Period.
Come in.
Now, I'm sure where they're at, there was signs posted up there, maybe,
Yeah.
because if that's going to be specifically for that thing, there should be signs. But when you get people, they're out there enjoying themselves, they're drinking or whatever, who knows what the circumstances were. I've been in this reminds me of a situation that I was in like this, similar, but to me, when you see stuff like that, I mean, you shouldn't be parking there. It could have been easily resolved, but when that dude took flight, now I'm not trying to turn this into that way, but do you think, because Alabama, the state, do you think it was racially motivated? Because
I think anywhere we would have been, it would have been racially charged. When you have one person of one race, and then outnumbered by 5 people from another race jumping on that person. I don't care what the dynamics are. It's gonna be charged. So especially in Alabama. Especially at that dock. We do know that was once a dock where they brought slaves in.
Yeah, there's history there.
There's history there. And they know it. And they even have a mayor right now that was elected that's not even sitting.
Yep.
Because the white folks voted them out, allegedly, according
to
I
was gonna say, look into it, people, in that county, there. I want to say this: whether there were signs or not, and you're right, House. I'm sure there were signs, but whether there were signs or not, the city employee told them more than once, "You cannot park here. Your vessel needs to move." Your vessel was moved. How entitled do you need to be to think? You know what I mean? I mean,
that's why when that dude took off flight on him right there, something just didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And then when all the other people came to jump in,
no,
that's cool. I hope, I hope it don't happen to me. But if anything happened to me where I'm getting stomped on by multiple people, I don't care what color you are. If you come to assist me, I greatly appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Rather than because when I saw all these the people coming towards him to help him out, that's what they should have done. He was outnumbered.
Absolutely.
That's not good, man.
And you know what? That could have ended very badly. It already did, but it could have ended very badly.
Think about it. What if it was? What if it's an open carry state?
Yeah.
What if people just
could have been over with? Yeah. Or if, God forbid, someone fell into the water and didn't know how to swim. Or there's
well, they pushed that girl. She was hit over with a chair. Some guy was hitting people with the chair, and then she fell down, and they threw her in the water. But consequences there. You do this. That's when it becomes like you're going to be held responsible for your actions.
Yeah.
And although, because there's a line right there, it's like you cross the line. When you're protecting somebody, and then you're going out and doing all these other things. And then you're going to be held accountable. That's how you'll be held accountable.
One-on-one. I mean, I hate that it had to come to that, but when the guy punched the worker, they could have just fought one on one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have just fought one on one, but the other guys had to come and help the white dude, and then they start jumping him. So then, what do you think? The people just gonna just look on and
Yeah.
watch him get jumped and beat to death? Who does that?
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
They went and reacted and took said no, that ain't gonna happen, and they went out and started beating up on those guys on the boat, and then they came off the boat and they
Yeah,
started.
and
That's when it all went crazy.
yeah, it
Yeah.
went crazy. And when
Yeah.
you're looking at it, you almost get a physical, overwhelming feeling coming up in you. I don't know if you all got it, but I got it. It was like, oh my God, like look at how they're coming to help this man.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at how they are. Look at, I mean, we got enough division going on in our
Mhm.
community, in our black community already anyway, with our own crime against ourselves. So when we see something like that, I hate that it had to be violent. But when we see
Oh yeah. Yeah.
black people coming to help other black people, especially with all the stupid YouTube beef and the gangs and all of that, and
Yeah.
it just behooves me. It was almost a proud moment just to see them coming together to help one another, regardless of what affiliations they have amongst our culture, amongst our race. This didn't matter. In that moment, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
They came together. And I
Right.
think that is why we have all of these memes and all all of these videos going viral, because I think everyone is feeling. I think everyone is feeling it.
They're calling that 16-year-old kid a superhero or a hero because he swam out of the water. There was a name on the news that they
He,
called him. I can't remember the
he got
name.
over there quick. He got over
Yeah.
there quick.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what part we're going back.
Saludos, crusted. How you doing, Kana?
I'm just curious. I don't know if Chola was speaking of the previous topic or this one, saying
What it is?
he felt we were looking at it wrong. But I'm just curious. Where is it at? Oh wait, define pick. Okay, define pick up after yourself because I don't do my dishes or wash my own clothes. I don't expect, and this has nothing to do with anyone's family situation but mine. If somebody is carrying their weight, that, and this is for me, I'm not speaking for other women or men. I enjoy, that's an act of love for me. I do that. Now, if I fell sick or something happened in my situation of life where I needed some help, yeah, that would be great. But for that part, that's part of my chosen. I don't want to say
If
chore.
if you're I see if you're playing like you're the housewife, kind of like what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
that's your duties because I'm single, right?
Mhm.
And to do all the work around the house and do the keep it clean and everything like that, it's time consuming to cook dinner, to make lunch,
Oh
breakfast,
yeah,
whatever it is. It's time
yeah.
consuming. You know what I'm saying? But like if you're just all plain just messy and just throw your stuff, I'd always pick up after myself. But you
Right.
know what? One thing one of my exes used to do is when all my clothes and my thing were color coded. It's like all the blues, the blacks, and all that just lined up like that. Just nice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh
And that's like everything was all creased down and just
yeah.
nice.
See, and
Uh,
some of us enjoy that. Like
yeah, yeah.
we,
There's nothing wrong with that, and that's it's nothing uh disrespectful or degrading about it or anything. It's
yeah,
no,
because
because you know what,
she
a
didn't have
woman's job. I learned this. Okay, I had a lot of respect for women when my first wife, she had twins, and they were telling us, oh, they're going to be 4 pounds each, right? So okay, okay. One was 8 pounds 5 ounces, and one was 7 pounds 10 ounces. She was carrying all that weight in her. She was huge. she didn't have a natural birth. She had a C section.
Mhm.
So you could. They told me you got to leave, Mr. Cornell, when they flopped her on the side, and I was like blood and everything. But I was cool. But they said you have to leave, because she was having a hard time breathing. But then she was real pale. She lost so much blood.
Yes.
But after that, and I seen that, I kind of like, wow, it hit me. But then I would say a month after that, I had to go in for a surgery for an inguinal hernia. So
Mm.
when they cut me down here, and I just imagine her getting cut up big time, and it's nothing. I maybe 8 inches, 7 inches for me, but then they cut the woman away more than that, and I felt the pain of the
God.
thing down there because your muscles have to take over and all this and that. So I said I have a lot of respect for those women for doing that. And so salute to them, man. Even their jobs, man. So some people look at it like it's not disrespectful. How would I say? Degrading, or just to be a housewife or this and that, or nah. As the woman that plays the role and does that role,
Mhm.
there's a lot that comes into that. So I respect that for these women. Yeah,
And I just want to be clear on something. And I'm not saying, oh, like I took this on with enjoying, like I, I don't want to say enjoyment, but I really took honor in it. Being a housewife, I was in a situation the first time where things were taken care of, and I really appreciated that. I'm not saying every woman would. I know I'll probably get some haters where like, oh, you know, you you're playing into the part of, I don't know what it is.
the key thing is, Jen, did it make you happy? Did you enjoy doing it?
I felt good because that was being reciprocated by being cared for in a
Yeah,
way
yeah,
that I respected. Now, I'm not saying everyone feels that way,
yeah.
and that's fine. I don't judge what you do in your house. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
Here we go. You do it out of love for the other person, not so much a chore. No, I never felt like it was a chore, so I agree with that.
that's true. That's true.
Now, if you were, I know we're backtracking, but if I'm behind on the comments, if you were not getting that same care, let's say, in another way, one way or another, it would feel like a chore, and you would maybe start to resent that. But because I felt taken care of, let's say, it made me feel good. It
That's
made me,
good. Say that's all that matters is if you feel good inside. Because you know what, sometimes the simplest things in life, and just in general, that give you peace. That keeps peace in the house and keeps the house together. You know,
yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that
yeah.
Not at
because
all.
Chuck, you ain't
Not at all.
lying.
What man would does not want a clean house or a
Yeah,
hot meal when he comes home
yeah.
from work, or
And you
you
know
know,
what? I'm gonna just say this.
what's
For
up,
me,
bud? How you doing?
there is no greater feeling, or I don't say greater, but there is such a good feeling in hearing, man, that was good. Like,
hmm
oh, I'm telling you, you don't
Hey,
have
the
nothing
way
else.
to a man's heart is through his stomach, isn't that right?
That feels, that's such an honor, and that feels good to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. And then
Yeah, that's true.
you can think better. You can think
Yes,
straight when things are in order around you. When
yes,
you don't have to, if someone comes over your house and, oh, may I use your restroom? If you have to stop and say,
yes.
well, let me go see, let me
You know,
check
Jack,
first.
yeah.
What are you doing? You know?
And
You know,
what was it said in the beginning days? Like Adam needed a helpmate.
Yeah, a help me.
Okay.
Yes, it's not good for a man to be alone. So
yeah,
I may
yeah.
be help me. But let me
Fantastic.
spit this on you right quick though, Jen. Let me
Okay.
ask you this.
Okay.
So what would you think about a relationship that the man is not working, but the woman is working, right? Full time, and she comes home and still has to cook and clean and do laundry, and he is babysitting the kids from the couch, and he's not holding anything down except for the couch.
Mm. Sis, if I dove into this 100%, ooh, but I will say this, without saying too much, I have, and yeah, I have experienced that um, more recently than people may think,
Mhm.
and you start to grow a resentment.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I can see that. I can see
and
that.
I mean,
Well,
it goes
that's
deeper than that even, but yeah, you resent that very much.
I think
yeah, because
younger.
I think that's like just taking advantage and not really doing what you're supposed to do, man. And not putting your 100% in. Because I learned that when there was times when I like I got injured or whatever, and I still did stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I wasn't as quick. But it's because you have to, man. You have to put your. That's what makes the household a one. You know what I'm saying? Whole
Mhm.
Yeah.
and keeps it going. And like to this day, like people walk in here like clients and stuff like that. They look at
Mhm.
my house and they say, "Man, your lady cleans the house real nice, man. I mean, your house is clean." I said, "There's no lady that lives here," and because I've always been like that. It's because I'm not a rich man. I'm not going to say that. I mean, I've had houses and this and that, but I'm not a rich man. But just
Yeah.
because I live in the barrio doesn't mean that I have to be dirty.
Not
You
at
know,
all.
hey,
Yeah.
my grass is
Let me
cut.
ask
Everything.
you this as a man, from a man's perspective. I'm going to address Cholo and to this
Mhm.
question for you. Cholo says, "Isn't that on a girl for choosing that kind of guy?" So, what about he wasn't always that kind of guy though? He started out being a protector and a provider, and then hard times hit, and maybe he got injured on a job, or maybe he got laid off, and then unemployment ran out, but she had the better benefit, so she went ahead and went to work because they got to keep the cycle going so they can keep the lights on and the roof over their heads and food on their table. But then he fell into a depression.
True.
He fell into a
That
depression, fell on hard times.
things
What
happen in people's lives.
what do they do?
Yeah. You communicate. You approach that your mate, and you let them know what's going on. You sit down and you talk. This is what's been happening in this household. And you sit down and have a conversation, man. And either the person's going to open their eyes or not. Then you know which way to go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to approach that situation. If that tends to happen, that's not fair. I would assume, it's not because the woman is putting more than 100%, of her, and that's not cool. You
Yeah.
gotta, but a real man would take care of the place and do what he's got to do. You know, that
Yeah.
that's 100% right there. And sometimes people change as time goes by. Like you said, what you said is right there. Because I seen people like that. They fell into a depression. Things happened. They were going back to work, and because I could speak for myself in my situation, right? And
Mhm.
this happened. I wasn't able to do my job like I used to. The same job. I used to be a truck driver. My
Mhm.
life changed.
Mm-hmm.
Did I feel good about it? No. It hard for me to accept? Heck yeah, it was, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was crawling and stuff. But you know what? I was fighting with myself all the time. And I said, hey, you know what? I hate it, man. I hate it. And then I was only going deeper and deeper into the negativity. So I finally says, you know what? Acceptance. If I can't do this, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do something else. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
because then you start, because your self esteem goes, is what happens.
Yeah.
And so you pull yourself out of that, and go a different route, because things happen in life. No, nobody's life's perfect. One person I know that they used to be able to afford everything. They could go to the store and buy whatever they wanted to. But when this point happened and changed their life, and then they got real hard on money, they started losing their place. They were
Mhm.
falling apart because they were so used to just walking in the store and I want that, I want that, I want that. and now they can't. So things happen. But when you could live a life and still be happy and see and say, what really makes you happy, man? You know what I'm saying? What really makes you happy? Is it money or is it other things? When you
Mm-hmm.
can come to an understanding and see that, then you'll find that peace, and then your life will start getting better, and then you'll start doing good things. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's a thing, but
I know we talked about
sure.
earlier when we were coming in on the show. We were
Yeah,
talking about parents
yeah,
and how we have if we still have our parents in our lives and they're still in their right minds and have a reasonable portion of their health and strength that we check in on them. So as parents, we need to check in on our children. We need to our adult children. We need to check in on them. How are you feeling? What is going on? Talk to
Mhm.
mom or talk to pops. What can I do to help? You gotta pry into their lives, because if you don't, I don't care how old they get, they are still your children, and you
Yeah.
can still guide them and give them advice. So anybody out there that has adult children that's in their early 20s, you still have to check in with them. Yes, they're over 18 years old, but we still got to check in with them because life happens. And when life happens, did you instill in them? Did you instill
correct,
in them that get up and go?
correct. That's right, because like a certain situation where I look at it as certain things are enabling them. When they're a certain age, they should be able to do these certain things. That's why I taught my kids a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that they know. My daughters, man, they were out there doing school, going to college. Doing all this stuff, and one, she's planning her family, which is okay. She wants a big family. I said, yeah, you want six? He goes, yeah, I want six, Dad. So
Wow.
she's planning her family. But you
Yeah.
know what? But the thing is, it's like, how would I say? I'm having a senior moment here. Excuse me. No, but but in reality, it's like, man, what were we talking about, real quick? You mean,
Everything going down but the word of God.
yeah.
Right.
Everything.
No, but anyways, it's just a thing where people like to see. I forgot what we're talking about. I'm having an old senior moment.
Just
That's
instilling
all good.
still instilling those values and those
Yeah, yeah.
morals
There you
in
go.
our
And
kids. We
instilling those
gotta instill
values
them
in your
because hard
kids
times are
to
gonna come and
know,
go.
so that you're not enabling them to take it upon yourself to continue. That's where I feel like, what you should do, because I instilled that in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometimes uh, mental things come up or whatever, but you have to be there to understand that and support them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Thank you for refreshing my mind there,
It's all
Drina.
good.
Yes.
You know how we
That's
get.
right. That's right. Hey, we got a
Send
lot of
mine to Crust. Oh, Crust, man.
feedback.
Give
Yeah, if
it
you
a
guys want to shout some people out with me,
Joker. Send mine to Joker. You got
Strange
Strange
Days,
Days, definitely a must, man. That's a good
Right.
guy right there, man. Vanessa,
LB,
everybody, man.
What a great
me.
audience.
Joe.
Thank you so much. I feel very welcome as always.
This was blessed. Yeah, I feel like this
Nice
was
meeting you, Adrena. It's a
Jojo,
good.
pleasure meeting you.
it's nice
Yeah.
meeting you as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, so you guys make sure to subscribe to Drina's Haven 916. I'll have it in the description. Also, you guys know, subscribe to House of Tattoos. I'll have him in the description as well. This
Thank you,
was a
Jen. Thank you.
conversation.
Hey, I'm up to 90. Orale.
Ooh, oh, you have a channel too, bro?
Yeah, I do.
That's
But
what's
you know what? I
up.
just been playing me and Crust on Fridays. We'll go on and do some little play some music for people and chop it up and kick it with people.
I like
And I'm also gonna do some other things. I got some things I'm thinking of, but I just got to put them into and make it happen, and then and go from there. You know what I'm saying?
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you
I
know
just
what?
got other things that I'm doing right now that I have to do.
Do it. You got time. You got time. Thank you to everyone. Drina, I want to thank you for, I feel like you have a special perspective of putting the last topic we talked about
Mm-hmm.
in situation where others can understand.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's important. So
You're welcome.
thank you. It's
You're very
important.
welcome.
Most definitely. Yep.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Brenda.
Yes, you guys go
Give old
support
Brenda love.
Brenda Love. Let me shout out some people. The G Lu Show, The Crusted. Let's go.
Saludos, Chuck Nasty.
Let's see, Happy 1977 girl. We had some new people come in today. That's what's
That's
up.
great.
Yeah, yeah, you see some new people in here. All right, all right.
Cholo Trucker. Wait, Cholo, would you say if I fell into depression, have him take oh, if he fell into depression, have him take cold showers and
Hey,
go out.
gracias, goat.
Yeah.
Goat said, "Oh, what did Cholo Trucker say?"
He goes, if he fell into depression, have him take cold showers and go for walks. But if he lost the will to be the household, he probably isn't interested in the relationship.
You know what? That's deep right there. And let
Okay.
me just offer this. When you're in the middle of something, you can't really see everything around you in the way that others can see it. So that's a whole nother live, a whole
Yeah,
nother.
because that topic, when it comes down to a cold shower, won't take care of that, Cholo
Yeah,
Trucker. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but you know, a good walk does
Yeah.
help you out, but you have to continue. But when certain individuals get to a certain way, they need to seek help, professional help. I that's how I feel.
unfortunately, men don't as much
Yeah,
as women will.
yeah. I was one of those men. I'm still one of those men when it
Yeah.
comes to doctors, man. Uh,
Household.
Being doctors, you know. But what I'm learning, what I'm applying to myself is like holistic healing and letting my body heal itself rather than relying on a lot of medication and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
because like remember, Jen, when my lung collapsed, I had COVID.
Wow.
Both lungs were full of fluids, all you know, and I couldn't breathe, walk. They
Yeah.
gave me medicine. They gave me antibiotics. They gave me steroids. They gave me this and that. I didn't take none of that. It took a long time to get healed, but I wrote it out. And who knows? I may catch it again. Who knows? I can't say that. But the thing is
Okay.
I'm trying to get my body to do its healing because our bodies are designed to do that, you know.
Yeah.
And but because when I go, I do have the white coat syndrome, though. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from PTSD back when I was a kid, you know.
Mhm.
But the white coat syndrome does happen, man.
Never heard of that. What is that?
Well, when I see doctors, because I've had stuff happen to me, like I've been hit by 64 Paul, I ran over, I've been all this other stuff, right? And it sticks with you, PTSD, right?
Mhm.
So when the ambulance came and they were looking at me because they thought I was had cuts or stuff, stabbed or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was a kid at that, but I remember all this. And I used to say, "Oh, hey, they're not." The first, I used to say, "The ambulance ain't coming for me," right? I was young, maybe 6 years old. Hey, mom, the ambulance are coming for me, right? She goes, "No, no, you know, everything's okay." Every time I heard an ambulance, so it
Wow.
stick with me. But
Yeah.
I look at it like that's something that I had to work. I have to work at, you know. And so when I go to the doctors, all of a sudden my blood pressure goes up like this, you
Mm.
know, and I
Mhm.
get the like, and I know they're to help, but I just don't. I can't see that. I think I was like about 8 years old when I had to end up in the hospital and they had to do surgery on me, my foot,
Mm.
right? Well, when they did that, they did the surgery. I came out. My mom goes, "I'll be back," and I said, "And we live right by. This was in Puente. We live right by the hospital." So then it was nighttime. I says, "Man, she's not back." So I started taking off. I was
Whoa.
crawling out of the hospital. There's the door right here. I know how to get home. And so the nurse caught me and she put me back in there. Says, "No, you got to watch TV, son. You know, you got to
Wow.
stay here."
Get out of
And just
there.
from a traumatic experience which
Yeah.
caused that, you know. But
Yeah. And you know what? That's a
now
really
understanding
good.
that it's not the ambulance or the doctors that caused this problem. The problem was something else, you see. So
Mm.
that's what I'm understanding now, you know.
Right.
And
That's a
but
real
do
thing.
I like going to doctors? No, Charlie.
Yes, I remember my doctor telling me about white coat syndrome because every time I would go in, my blood pressure spiked.
Yeah.
And they're
Wow.
like, why isn't this happening? Because I started checking it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my doctors, she's like, yeah, I feel like you have this because all the health issues you've had, you're expecting something bad, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what that is also? Is learned fear in our
Correct.
part of our brain. What is it? The amygdala
Yes.
that triggers the response for fight or flight. So when we go through those experiences that you just explained and that you went through, Jen,
Yeah.
when we keep going through those same experiences, we
Mhm.
are teaching our brain. We're teaching our brain. We're teaching our brain
You
how to
have to
respond to
reprogram it.
those type of
Yeah.
stimuli. So it's learned fear. It's learned, and so we have
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
unlearn it.
Yeah.
Start doing
Exactly.
things different. So when we those triggers come, then instead of avoiding them, because we already taught our brain what happens when we don't avoid them, right? But when we teach our brain to do something different and just lean into it, of course, if it's safe, if it's the environment is safe,
Yeah.
lean
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. And that's what causes it is seeing all the violence and all the other stuff, and it's instilled in you as a kid. But
Mm-hmm.
as a grown man, I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? But when I learned, I went into groups. I'm not afraid to talk about it because this is part of healing. But
Absolutely.
when I went into groups, it's not selective on who it chooses. I mean, there were professional hockey players in there. There was lawyers. There was different kind of people in there that suffered from it. But it's learning how to control it. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what you have to do. Is you have to learn how to control it because it's going to always be there, but you have to talk it out. You have to talk yourself through it and change your train of thought. That's what you
Yep.
do. And like I read books, a lot of self help books. Uh,
Mhm.
play a good role in doing it. Because it's like, dang, I seen that, I felt that way. So and then they teach you these steps to help you through. And it's good,
Absolutely.
man. Some good topics here, man.
Hey,
Some
I know. We got to do this again, you
real good
guys.
topics.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Brenda Love, channel member for 13 months.
Yes, congratulations there, Brenda Love.
Yeah, and then let me just say real quick, if I forgot anyone, correct me, guys, real quick. Shout out to Tashanka Whitco,
Yes,
Chicano Tube, G. Lou, and Strange Days for the super chats. Oh, Brenda Love.
thank you guys, thank you.
Oh,
No,
shout
I
out.
haven't. Go.
You guys, seriously, like, thank you. I appreciate it more than you know. You guys are amazing. You guys subscribe to Drina's Haven 916. Like I said, this will all be in the channel description or the video description. House of Tattoos. Drina, what do you have going on? Can you share a little bit?
Right now, still under a non-disclosure agreement with my man Dirty Weather 916 Clyde Dell from 60 Days In, aka Dirty Weather 916. We're still under a non-disclosure agreement, so he can't post or go live too often. I really I mean, it doesn't really affect me, but it kind of does. As I also signed the non-disclosure agreement as his spouse going on the show. Right now, I am still trending towards being monetized. So if anyone would like to help, just go over to my channel and just grab a playlist and just run it. I have morning devotionals, queens and kings, um, criminal justice. I have different playlists for different topics.
So
So
that
that's
has to get monetized. You have to have a certain amount of watch hours. Then,
and
yeah,
yeah,
subscribe. And you know what? She's almost there, you guys. So
almost.
all of us can
hello,
get
Thank
over there
you.
and run it through. Come
hello,
on.
Monica. How you
Pick a
doing, man?
playlist and let it run.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And as you
Thank
can
you.
see here, everything we've talked about, Drina's got a lot of great information. I know I personally love the morning devotionals and everything else. So get over there and do it.
Right
you know
on.
what I get? There's this person that sends me this. I'm on a group thing that they text me on my phone, and it's scripture, but it's just so. Sometimes I think it's so helpful and meaningful that I'm gonna do the my live, not my live, but I'm gonna post these things on my YouTube channel.
Community,
You know,
yeah.
yeah, I'm barely starting it off. I mean, it's been how long, Jen? But it just like I have these things going on, but I'm gonna do it. And
Yes.
like on Fridays, come and join me and Crust around 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night.
Okay.
And listen to some music, chop it up, and feel
Yeah.
free to jump on and say "Cubo,"
All
Yes.
And
right.
this week we're gonna go on Crust channel, so
Okay.
yeah, Crust the
What
Joint, and
time?
come and join us, man, and we'll put your song on or whatever, man. And
All right.
but there's a lot of other things that I got in my mind that I have to do it, but I'm doing some other things right now, and but it's gonna happen. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
it is. It is happening.
Yeah.
Give yourself credit.
But well, to me, only doing this not to really get all these views or monetize it or this. Just to, it's good therapy, and it's just to have fun and
Yes.
to network with people and help people if I can. And that's
Yeah.
basically it. Get some. Pray for people, man. That's
Yeah.
what I do, man.
Absolutely.
And that's no joke, man. It's no joke. I do.
Right. And here's crust right here, the crusted joint.
Yep. That's the dog right there, crusted joint.
That's him. And let's see. Let me find. I know Brenda shared. She shared Drina's link to her channel, but like I said, it's going to be in the description. What? Man, you guys are blessing me all over the place tonight.
That's a Cholo
I'm
trucker.
going to be able to sleep.
Cold showers then walks.
Check it out. Thank you, brother. Yes, that's right. I
Love
appreciate
it.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Ruby, back to school tomorrow. You have no idea. This is gonna. I don't want to keep saying you have no idea, but yes.
Hey Jen, did you ever get that thing I sent you, Jen, about when I put this thing and I says, "This is me. I'm gonna take dancing lessons from this guy." Did you ever receive that TikTok thing?
Thank you.
No,
I think I sent it to you. I'm not if I'm correct. I sent it
you
to
have it still.
nah, let's see. I don't know. Let's
Send
see.
it to me if you do. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's comedy, man. But every time I see this, I just think of Cholo Trucker, man. I don't know why.
Oh no.
Are
You
you
gotta
putting
send
his
it to me.
information in the description as well, so I can
Yes,
have that information? I
absolutely.
want to
I will.
subscribe to your channel, bro. I
And
don't
I
know a
agree
lot
with
of
you.
Spanish, but I know Jesus Cristo en tu corazón.
That's all that
Hey,
matters.
hey.
Yeah, and Drina does support you guys. I'm telling you, she really
No,
does.
absolutely.
Jojo says Steelers game Friday at 4. I know Cholo, you and the
Yeah,
wife
yeah.
look forward to it. So with that said, you guys, what do I have coming up? Well, back to school right now, so
Yeah.
I hope to go. I hope to go live late night, either Friday or Saturday. So
All right. Hey, Mundo, I'm going to be working on a Chevelle pretty soon. Uh,
okay,
doing some body work on the Chevelle. He put, let's talk about body shop business.
there you go. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
we're going to
That's
be working on that.
Yes, Jojo
That's
AD, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so
It's a
much.
lot of love a lot of love in the room today.
I'm gonna
Thank
go
you guys,
cry.
man.
I'm gonna go cry in my bedroom right now. Out of appreciation. I'm gonna definitely thank you guys. Thank you to my panel members, everyone in the chat, Vic Med, Vanessa, Love Grace,
Yes, strange days. Grace, Monica,
Monica,
Vanessa,
Silver Trucker, Chuck, Nasty. I think it's your first time
Rich
here.
the beer guzzler.
Yes, Rich, always. Southtown SD, yes, most definitely. Hey, and anyone that I missed, shout out to you guys. Victor Garcia, Brenda Love. You guys
That's
check
right, JoJo. Stillers all day, every day.
out the Crusted. Yes, everyone. Shout out to you guys. The Gilu Show, Tashanka Whitco, Chicano Tube. Thank you guys. Until next time, same time next week. Right here, you're going to catch the roundtable. If you have any suggestions as far as topics, shoot them my way. We got you guys. We got you guys. Until then, thank you guys. I appreciate
Hey,
each of
thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you now.
Thank Thank
Thank
you, everyone in
you.
the
Have a
chat.
blessed week, Adrena.
Thank you very
Nice
much, and
meeting you.
you as well.
Yeah. Good evening, guys, and buenas noches. Have a good one.
Have a
Talk
good
to
night. Good night, you guys.
you. Good night.